Most Filipinos, right now, would probably think that classical era people only worship either of the three religions, paganism, animism, or Islam. Well, no. That's the only thing those history books tell the average Filipino. And history books are history books because they only discuss the historical perspective of the past and not the more nuanced socio-cultural side of it. That's why we're talking about this in this channel. Anyways, straight to the point. Classical era Filipinos practice a form of Hindu-Buddhist religion which is further syncretized with the respective local religion and beliefs. In the advent of the late first millennium to the early second millennium, there is always a connection with the nations among Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent, and the Chinese Empire. The connection is established mostly through the Maritime Silk Route and its early counterpart routes, in which different wares, resources, and more importantly, ideologies spread throughout the region. We will discuss the Agusan Goldplate inscription, also known academically as the Agusan Mahapratisara amulet, as one of the prime pieces of evidence of the extent of Hindu-Buddhism in the archipelago, as well as the scope of the cult of Mahapratisara on the maritime Southeast Asia. Let's get into it. As a disclaimer, keep in mind that this topic only discusses about the scope of Buddhism in the early Butuan society. Though there are evidences of Buddhism as widespread across the modern geopolitical borders of the Philippines, it is not the representative of this tradition of the whole archipelago. Also, keep in mind that any malicious comments stating that people who revere Buddhist deities are worshipping the devil and God is the only true God, shut up. Having this kind of mindset is a hindrance towards anthropological academic study. Understand that we are discussing human condition and every human experience is as valid as you're experiencing right now. The Agusan Goldplate inscription is a document that contains a variant of a mantra dedicated to the Buddhist Bodhisattva protection, Mahapratisara. The AGI is written using the later Kawi script of the 10th to 11th century, which is unlike the Laguna copperplate inscription which uses the early Kawi script. To know anything about the LCI, unbiased and unfiltered, I highly suggest watching the first video of this channel. Please watch the video. The only similarity between the LCI and the AGI is that both artifacts are found at the same time. The AGI was found archaeologically unearthed at Esperanza, Agusan del Sur, 33 kilometers south of Butuan by treasure hunters at an unmarked grave. The AGI was found rolled up along with a skeleton wearing a diadem, and its orifices were covered by a cut gold sheet pieces. The AGI is a thin 14-karat gold sheet and has dimensions of 1.85 by 10.05 centimeters. It has a rectangular end at the left side and a triangular end at the right side. It has wrinkles on the rectangular side, most likely from the process of rolling. The AGI has 3 lines of writing on both recto and verso sides, written in later Kawi script in the more cursive style. The writing of the artifact is incised and not chiseled because it is basically paper thin. The recto has its whole side fully filled, while the verso has space at its right side. The deciphering history of the AGI is a real woozy, to be honest. The document has been passed, not technically, among academics and their circles. This is pure proof that humanities academics like us are not solitary, but collaborative. Like even contacting foreign academics just to figure out stuff. Checkmate. Daryl Yap, Ramon Villegas, a jeweler and a Philippine jewelry historian, seized the opportunity to purchase the AGI in 1991 after hearing the LCI National Museum situation. He then asked Dutch anthropologist Anton Posma to decipher it. Most likely unable to figure out the content, Posma brought the stencil made by Villegas to a conference in which Dutch epigraphist J.G. de Casparis then identified the document as a Sanskrit protective mantra. In 2010, with the nudging of Roderick Orlina, Dutch Sanskrit professional Arlo Griffiths finally deciphered the document. The AGI, now more fittingly called as the Agusan Mahapratisara amulet, is a protective mantra designed to protect, most likely the soul of Angay, the dead skeleton guy with the diadems and the gold sheet stuff. It is revised to become a variant of the original Mahapratisara mantra, Mahapratisara Mahabijayarajni, in which it is personalized to this Angay royalty person. The original Mahapratisara Mahabijayarajni is as follows.
Amrita Vali Vala Vala Bala Vala Visude Hum Pad Swaha Amrita Vilukini Kalba Sam Laksani Akalisani Hum Pad Pad Swaha.
The AGI content is as follows. Om Amritavare Vara Vara Prabarabisude Hum Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Angay Nama Sarirakshan Kuru Santing Kuru Swaha. Om Amrita Vilokini Karbasam Rakshani Akarsani Ayushpalani Hum Pat Pat Raksha Raksha Si Angay Nama. The translation of the AGI content is as following.
O excellent nectar, O purest one, protect the one named Angay. Protect his body, provide peace for him. O one with nectar eyes, O protector of the fetus, O one who attracts, the giver of long life. Protect the one named Angay.
The Agusan Goldplate inscription in two ways is a variation of the mantra Mahapratisara dhāraṇī. First is a spelling of the aksaras. This is most likely the appropriation of the Malay language from the Sanskrit language. From Vishuddhe to Vishuddhe, from Sharira and Shanti to Sarira and Santi. This feature can also be found on the LCI. Please watch the video. Other features such as Vangsha to Vangsha to Bangsha. Second is that the mantra is personalized to a specific person. This mantra is dedicated for the protection of one Angay, is designated by the personal marker C. Angay suggests it is the name of a local person. As on the languages such as Manobo, Cebuano, Hiligaynon, Bicol, and Waray, the name can either mean suitable, fitting, or appropriate. The name can also be found on the iconic Catálogo Alfabético de Apellidos as a surname under the 1849 decree of the Spanish government. In terms of internal orthography, the amulet has one kinda typo. The character ksha is inferred by the translator as it is barely visible from all the wrinkles from an unknown instrument that unrolled the amulet. These adaptations, both contextual and phonological, are not jotted down from a source, but most likely written on someone's behalf or for personal use by someone who is proficient at Sanskrit. It also may have been written by a bhiksu or a Buddhist monk. So you're thinking right now, who the hell is this girl Mahapratisara, as well as this so-called cult of hers? Before discussing the yassification of Queen Mahapratisara, let's discuss the term cult because y'all can insult in the comments sometimes. The cult that I am not talking about is the modern term, which is a social group that has unusual beliefs or is interested in a specific person or goal. From what I have observed, these cults revolve around a personality related to a religion and has political, racist, and supernatural ideologies. These cults mostly bring harm to the people included in it. The cult that I am talking about is the veneration towards religious deities as well as temples and shrines of worship. This cult revolves around a ritual and ceremony and may have or may not have specific places of worship or images. This cult is basically just general religious practice. The historical cults I can think of right now are cults like the cult of Demeter and Persephone, the Dionysian cult, the Orphic cult, and many more. Now that that's out of the way, we can now discuss our girl Mahapratisara. Mahapratisara is a bodhisattva that is a part of the Mahayana and Vajrayana sects of Buddhism. She is sometimes characterized as a consort of Vairocana, the embodiment of shunyata or voidness. Mahapratisara is said to be a transformation of the Guanyin, the bodhisattva of great compassion. Mahapratisara is a bodhisattva to turn to when one needs protection, especially from negative aspects such as different forms of illness, elimination of past non-virtuous karma, and protection from all sorts of danger. She is also the bodhisattva to turn to when one needs a wish to be fulfilled, such as good rebirth, having a son, increase in fertility, quicken the path to Buddhahood, and overall prosperity. She is depicted as a woman with either one head or four heads, sitting on a lotus flower. She has a yellow complexion and has 8 arms. Her 4 left arms hold a flaming wheeled lotus flower, a scripture, a banner, and a lasso. Her 4 other right arms hold a 5-pronged vajra, a halberd, a sword, and a kartika. The AGI is just a speck from a collective of narratives of the greater Mahapratisara dhāraṇī. From what I have researched, there are a total of 9 narratives. Sadly, I am unable to search anywhere the last 3 narratives. The first narrative is a story of Princess Yashodhara, Siddhartha's wife. While pregnant with Rahula, she was experiencing an ordeal with fire. She was saved when Rahula, her unborn son, recited the Mahapratisara dhāraṇī, which was imparted to him by Prince Siddhartha before the the latter's departure from the royal palace. The second narrative is the creation of an amulet of the Mahapratisara dhāraṇī. One should write it on a cloth or any material and wear it as a bracelet or necklace. If one wants a son, one should draw a boy at the center of the amulet. If already pregnant, draw Mahakala and Brahma. The amulet is said to be so potent, it can give sons to eunuchs and the impotent. The third narrative is the veneration of the Mahapratisara amulet, in which it is wrapped by various cloths, mounting it on top of a flagpole on a chaitya, and then venerate while circumambulating it. The fourth narrative is the story of the death of a bad monk. The bad monk descends to Avicii, one of the 28 hells, but relieves the sufferings of all beings in there as his corpse wears a Mahapratisara necklace. He is then reborn as a god in Trayastrimsha, the second of 6 heavens. The fifth narrative is the saving of a ship of a merchant named Vimalashanka from a lightning storm by a sea monster. He did the ritual stated in the third narrative. The sixth narrative is that a childless king who has ordered to make an amulet for his wife, whom then bore a son. Her title is Mahapratisara Mahavidyarajni. Maha means great, Pratisara means amulet, Vidya means spells or incantations, and Rajni means queen. Her title as a whole means the great amulet, the great queen of spells, which signifies her absolute power of providing protection through incantations and amulets. In other translations such as Japanese, Chinese, and Vietnamese, her name can also mean the great demand or the great request. She is also referred as a great wish-fulfilling bodhisattva. Roderick Orlina states in his research article that the Mahapratisara cult is most likely spread by Amoghavaja, one of the most politically powerful Buddhist monks. He is a tantric master who is one of the key figures of the spread of Vajrayana in China. He translated the Mahapratisara Mahavidyarajni to Chinese. He also visited Java 2 times through his Java China missions. As Butuan is a trading port and a source of gold, it must have been touched by the practice, and the cult was immediately been effective after Amoghavaja's mission. In Butuan, there is evidence of the high amount of gold as per the gold crucibles on earth. Kinda weird, but that's the source says. Gold is regarded to be a prestige material in making amulets, as well as for the visualization of deities, mentioned in the translation of Amoghapasa Tarani Sutra by Bodhiruchi. There are also early Tang Dynasty ceramics unearthed in which it further proves that the cult of Mahapratisara was spread from Java. In 1975, there unearthed an enormous amount of pottery such as local earthenware, Guangdong ceramics, Sating Prahware, and Persian faience shards. All of these are from overseas trade, which further establishes ties with China, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Anyway, the common denominator of all of Southeast, East, and South Asian societies is gold. Gold helps scholars examine Southeast Asia as a single cultural unit. These scholars understand aspects such as culture, arts, and beliefs, including disposal of the dead, burying the dead with treasures, sky burial, and cremation, since the Buddhist view of the human body is impermanent. Here are some other related finds. In 1917, Esperanza, Agusan del Sur, a 21-karat gold image weighing 1.8 kilograms, was discovered at the banks of Wawa River. Wrongly identified as a Tara image, it is an image of Vajralasya, the Manjushri of amorous dance or gesture of love of the Vajrayana sect. In 1981, a collection of around 25 to 30 kilograms of gold items was unearthed at Surigao del Sur. This suggests a highly developed craftsmanship of style of Indian origin. In 1590, even the Boxer Codex documents non-Muslim people of Luzon and Visayas who worshipped Bodhisattva Vairocana and the creator Bharata and other Indian deities. In 1971, found the 6.6 by 4.8 centimeter Avalokiteshvara tablet from Calatagan, Batangas, as well as the Laguna copperplate inscription. Watch the video! There are also these heirlooms called pusuka kept by the Monobo. There are notably 2 pusuka, both 8 inches in height. One is a human figure with multiple arms, thought to be a Shivaite. The other is an undescribed Buddhist figure. Oh my god, this one is a real doozy to me. Personally, I literally had to understand how Buddhism works real quick just to properly convey the concepts in this video. If there are terms that you do not know or understand, Google is free 24/7. As always, this video has subtitles so you can copy-paste the term easily. Anyways, I have personal guilt because I wanted to add the research made by scholars on determining the scope and extent of Buddhism in the Philippines. And when you read them, it is so interesting to piece together the facts. Unfortunately, I am a one-man team and feel challenged to convey this information decently. So I chose not to do it. I hope you all had fun and learned so much in this video. I had fun, like really. Stay safe as always, help others in need. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Salingogon, out!